take a seat, and welcome to the sit down. All right, well, welcome to the sit down, and today we've got a great guest. And man, if you would have heard what he was telling me beforehand off camera, you'd be probably pretty into this episode already, because we've got a pretty entertaining guest that a lot of you are going to get to know. Can't wait for him to hop on the sit down. Before we get started, if you haven't already followed the YouTube channel, go ahead, shoot it a follow. It'll get you all the updated videos when they come out. If you're watching this on social media, like it, give it a share, get this out to as many people as possible. Hopefully the goal is that this can pour into somebody today and be an ounce of hope for them. So thanks for coming on, and let's get into it. Mr. Inniger, thank you for hopping on.
I'd rather have Erv.
Erv? Well, you know, you've been giving me grief already about my UND upbringing, and so Mr. Inniger, I just feel like it's a sign of respect, being that, 81 years old now.
Well, I'm going to call you Hunter then.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
It goes both ways.
It goes both ways. Erv, we should probably give the listeners a little bit of background of how we got to know each other. And we had coffee this winter. It was the first time meeting, I guess, in person. But I want to tell you my remembrance of the first time I actually met you. And it was in a gym at Park Christian. And it was an early summer morning. And you and the Park Christian guys were having a little practice and getting after it. And Zach Kavalvog invited me to come play basketball at, I think it was 6 a.m. And so I went into the gym and we worked out, and I thought, I've gotta try and impress Erv Inniger, because I knew, your history as a coach. And so I remember we were doing a layup thing, maybe make a dribble move and attack the basket. And I went up and I threw down a huge dunk. And I kind of glanced over at you, and you had just no expression whatsoever. And I remember thinking, did he even see that dunk? So you probably don't remember that dunk, do you?
Oh, yeah. I mean, you're 6'6". It should be easy for you. I mean, come on, let's go. You're trying to press the rest of the guys.
Yeah.
Remember, I'm the coach. Anybody can dunk it when you get to be that size.
That's right.
I'd have been disappointed if you wouldn't have made it.
I needed that little humbling. That was good. That was my first time getting to know who you were, and obviously you guys had a great season at Park. We'll get into that. I want to talk about that year that you got to spend with Park Christian. But for those that don't know, Erv, you came to Fargo how many years ago?
Well, I came in, 78, 1978. I've been here almost 50 years.
Okay, coming up on 50 years.
1978.
You came here to coach basketball.
Right.
And you were the head coach at North Dakota State for 14 seasons.
Correct.
Just if you want to just give us a little background of where you came from. I know it. You're from the state of basketball.
I know.
If you want to just give a little background of kind of where you came from and how you ended up here in Fargo.
Well, one reason I like it so much up here is because I grew up in a really small town.
Yeah.
And even when I came to Fargo many years ago, I felt Fargo was a small town in a lot of ways, because I was in Minneapolis and I was in Miami, Florida, and I was a couple other places. But basketball is everything. I can remember when I was 6 years old, that's all I wanted to do. I wanted to play basketball. I wanted to be a coach. I know I talked to so many people and said I had no idea what I wanted to do. I knew exactly, almost from six years of age, what I wanted to do. But my main sport in Indiana was not basketball, it was baseball.
Really? So two-sport athlete at
Indiana. In fact, I lettered in both sports at Indiana.
Okay.
And it was really an exciting time for me, because, in our junior high team, we were 67-0. When I got to high school, we were 67-12, and there was only one class back in Indiana.
Wow.
And we got to the Final 8.
Okay.
I mean, then that was like a state championship. We upset some major teams and had some great teams. So all 3 years, I was really fortunate. And then Indiana University came in and recruited me. And that was an unbelievable experience. I mean, I think you growing up, you say, that's where I want to play basketball. My situation then was, when I went to the coach, Branch McCracken at that time, I said, I'll come, but I want to play baseball too.
Wow.
And so
he said yes.
He said,
wow.
No problem. So freshmen couldn't play. could not play whatsoever.
Yep.
Basically, you could only play your sophomore, junior, and senior year.
Yeah.
So basically, I got to play all 3 years and I got to play with the Van Arsdale twins, John McLaughlin. I mean, I got to play with some unbelievable players, and that was an unbelievable experience. Well, they didn't ever win the Big Ten Championship.
Yeah.
When I was a sophomore, I got to watch a lot of games.
Sure.
I was a bench guy.
Yeah.
I mean, when you play with them, you say, get a big lead so we can get in the game. So, and then our junior year, we finished last in the Big Ten.
Okay.
And I played some off and on, but our senior year, we won the Big Ten Championship.
Wow, you went from last to first.
We went from last to first and got to play, but I broke my wrist with just a couple games to go. And so I did not get to play in the national in the first round.
Sure.
And back then there were only 16 teams too. So it's
16 teams in the NCAA tournament. Holy cow, Gary, that's a different deal, huh?
I mean, it was a whole different story for that. And then after that, I thought my career was over. I was pitching for Indiana. I finished my career in Minnesota pitching against the Gophers, and I was drafted 6th round in the ABA for the Basketball Association. So my whole career started over.
So who did you get drafted by?
Minnesota Muskies.
Okay.
And I was 6th round, got in, and my first year was, I mean, not bragging either. I don't like that, but I actually averaged double figures my first year in pro ball. But what happened after that was Vietnam was really hot. I had a very bad number.
Sure.
So I got drafted.
Yep.
And so I went in the service for 6 years in the reserves.
Okay.
But what happens, Hunter, I'm going to give you a little credit here, so you recognize it. But if I'm not playing and you are in pro ball, your career can be over pretty quick. And I was an average. I mean, I wasn't a superstar or anything. I had a role to play. I played it.
Yeah.
And when I got out, the season had already started, and I never had a chance to catch up. And so then I left, and then I started my coaching career in Minneapolis.
That's kind of amazing, the journey that God takes you on.
Oh.
And you talk about you kind of lose it if you're not practicing and maintaining and keeping the sharp edge. Eventually, it goes a little dull.
It does.
But that exact thing led you down the coaching realm.
Well, the Holy Spirit's working.
Yeah.
And you won't believe the story. I'm sitting at the Twins game because when you played pro ball, you had a lot of advantages. I mean, you really do. You get to know the players and the Twins, and so you get a lot. So I'm going to the game when I get back. Actually, when my last game in pro ball, we moved to Minneapolis. I loved Minneapolis, and I said that's where I want to go. I was married. We had a son, and I said our son was born in Miami, and I said I want to go back to Minneapolis. She said, well, you don't want to go to Indiana? Nope. I said I'd really like to go back there. Didn't have a job. Walked the streets. Started with the YMCA. Went to a Twins game. Sat next. This was like the end of August. End of August now.
Yeah.
And I sit next to the athletic director at Golden Valley Lutheran College.
Okay.
Junior college.
At just a random Twins game.
Yeah, a random Twins game. He had access because he was a baseball coach besides the AD. And my father-in-law, I was at the game, my father-in-law, after the game was over, he said, who was the guy? I said, I don't know, but he bothered. I do not like to go to a game and be bothered.
Yeah.
My wife protects me because I'm focused.
Just let me watch the game.
I'm into the game. And so on Monday, he called me and said, hey, would you come on? We're looking for a basketball coach.
What the heck?
Yeah, and so I have many, many stories of how the Holy Spirit worked in my life, but I just didn't realize it at the time. I mean, sometimes you don't realize that. And basically, that's how my career got started in basketball. My first year, I was 500, and I said, I hate 500. That's not going to happen again. And I went back to Indiana, and I recruited 5 players.
You got some guys from your area.
We won the conference the next year.
Funny how that works.
Recruiting works pretty darn good.
Yeah. There's the X's and O's are important, but not nearly as important as the Jimmy and Joes.
No, you got to have athletes to do it. So it was a great time in my career.
You gotta have some players.
Yeah, and you got to have some players. You really do.
Absolutely.
So that's kind of how I got started. And I was 4 years there, very fortunate. And then I had some good friends at Augsburg College.
Yep.
And my 4 years at Golden Valley, like I say, were successful. And literally, the athletic director called me at Augsburg College. Butch Raymond was the coach.
Okay.
And so at that time, and he left to go to Mankato, and I was the only one that interviewed for the job at Augsburg College.
You're the only one. Wow.
And then we won we won 3 championships, and we were on our 4th. And the athletic director came to me at Christmas time and said, "You got an ineligible player." This was brutal for me.
Mm-hmm.
He said, "You're going to have to forfeit your games." We're in first place now. And the kid had gone to a junior college, graduated with an AA degree, and the NCAA had a rule that counted. But the NAIA said if you have to take more than 5 credits your last semester at the junior college, or you're ineligible. This kid was a good student.
Yeah.
And his name is Dave Boots, and he was a heck of a coach at USD.
Okay.
And he really, it was devastating to all my players, all the work they put in. We finished the season actually with, I think, a winning record, even after we had to suspend him.
Forfeit all those games.
But what was really important about this is nobody, including the Tribune, if you go back and look, and there were some major articles written, nobody could believe that we turned ourselves in.
Mm-hmm.
They said, because even the coach down there said, "I could have cheated for you. I could have gotten you another class easily." And I said, "That's just not the kind of etiquette and the kind of honesty that we want."
Yeah.
So we turned ourselves in, and we did not win it that year. And the team that won it, we beat both times.
Shoot. You know, my grandpa, who is one of my biggest role models, he always says every dishonest deed is like a boomerang. They all come back, and one of them will get your head.
Well, and you've got young men that you're dealing with.
Yeah.
I mean, those young men are still important in my life, just like we were talking earlier,
Right.
how some coaches have been important in your life.
Yep.
Those young men are very important in my life. I mean, I still have friends that are, like that. I mean, it's been a long time. And but it was a turning point in my life too. I mean, it was really. I mean, I went home and I didn't even come back to school for 2 days. You say, "Well, you worked so hard for this."
Yeah.
And then you have to give it all up.
And then right after that season, is that when NDSU called?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, they didn't call. I applied.
You applied, yeah. So the position opens up at Fargo, and I just want to be very clear. We already talked about it. And I'm not going to wear any green and gold, but I did wear some green that shades the NDSU color.
Hunter, I really do love you, but that's an ugly color.
This is the best I got. I got a lot of Kelly green in my closet.
Believe me, I could help you with that.
I you know what? As generous as that offer is, I'm gonna pass on that offer.
Okay. I kind of figured you.
Yeah, it's just not my color. But we came. My grandparents always say we're from North Dakota. We're UND people. But this is my grandma talking. She said North Dakota's too small to cheer against our own. So I have a lot of friends that played at NDSU. I'll cheer for the Bison every now and then.
Well, I got to tell you, Dave Gunther was a great coach.
Yeah.
I mean, he was a great coach. I coached against Rich Glass too.
Yeah.
I mean, not here, but also to go to a national championship game in the NIA. We were both head to head.
Where was he at?
He was at Morris at that time.
Okay.
And we won a heck of a ball game. It was 36-33.
Oh my goodness, just a struggle.
Well, there's no clock and 3-point back
possession game.
So I competed. The 3 coaches that were up for the job here were Rich Glass, Butch Joyner, and myself.
Okay.
Not Butch Joyner, but Butch Raymond.
Yeah.
And that's who. And we all competed against each other in different ways.
Right.
So it was a great time. I mean, I really appreciated being the coach here for 14 years, and it was a different time. You look today, I'm so happy what they're doing today. They opened it up. But back then, only the top team got to go in the playoffs.
Yeah.
And it wasn't fair. Our kids worked too hard to do that. And so what the NCAA has done now is, now the top 4 or 5 teams get to go. And that's the way it should be.
Yeah.
Because you could have injuries during the year.
You're a different team at the end of the year.
You are totally a different team at the end of the year.
Absolutely. So you coached 14 years at NDSU, and then in 1992, did you just decide to be done and follow a new path, or what happened?
Well, it was one of my toughest years. We started off the season really good. We were in first place, actually, and I just got a slew of injuries. And so we ended up, I think, 14-16. The only losing season I had, I think we were 14-16. And the athletic director came in and said, "Erv, either you win next year or you're out."
Mm-hmm.
And so basically, I was kind of at the end of my time.
Sure.
And realized it. And again, the Holy Spirit kind of pushed me out. Again, said, take the job. So they said, hey, be a fundraiser. I mean, I'd done a lot of fundraising for our program and things like that. And so basically, I just said, okay, I'll try it.
Yep.
I had no idea, but I had raised a lot of money, like I say, for this program. And it all worked out unbelievable. It was a perfect situation for me at that time. And I really hit the jackpot in getting some gifts very early on with some people that I'd worked with when I coached.
It's kind of an amazing transition because I was just talking with one of my mentors, Bubba Schweiger. He was my coach at UND. And, what was it now? 2 years ago, he kind of took a similar thing. He just took a step back from coaching, is now working with the Alumni Association and in kind of an advisory role. And he's perfect for that because it's all relationship based.
It all is.
And as a coach, that's what coaching is too.
It is.
It's relationships.
And that's where you get them. I mean, the first gift I got was $250,000, and that's a long time ago.
Yeah.
And I can remember, I thought this is fantastic. 'Cause now I'm like winning a basketball game.
Yeah.
You're doing that. And I said, oh, 250,000. I want to get 500,000.
Let's go for the next one.
Then the 500,000, I wanted to get $1 million. And so what happens is you really just basically start. And I was again blessed because that first gift. And it's really an interesting thing because I do a lot with charities. I have 30 charities that I coach, and I tell them this story. I said, so I go to the couple that gave the NDSU $250,000, and back then that was a lot of money to name the track. In fact, it's still out there. And I said after he gave it, I went back to him the next week and I said, I'm learning. This is my first major gift.
Mm-hmm.
I said, tell me why you gave. He said, because you asked.
Oof.
And so that's my message to the people I work with. I have 5 classes that I have. And I said, I asked, you didn't. I mean, it's kind of a little bit different there, but I said, if you'd have asked, if you'd have been there first, guess what? You'd have got it.
Sure.
But I said, so it's really important today you ask for the gift.
Absolutely. I think we'll get into I want to get more into the charities because you've done a ton of work and continue to do a lot of work in that. I want to just touch though, as you were wrapping up your coaching career and getting more into the fundraising, you led teams your entire life, whether it be on the basketball side, whether it be on the fundraising side. From a leadership standpoint, you were a part of every type of team. Last place team at Indiana, first place team at Indiana. Losing season at NDSU, conference championship season at NDSU. Give me some of your key characteristics on why teams win and why teams lose.
Well, first of all, it's all, coaching can only do so much.
Mm-hmm.
I think you have to make sure you gel a team. I think the chemistry of a team is so vital.
Yeah.
And I had teams that probably are more talented and didn't win a championship because they wouldn't play together.
Yep.
So the chemistry is so valuable. But then they have to buy into your philosophy. And I have a philosophy that I taught my athletes, and I gave them a book when I started each year. And basically there are 6 points that were really vital for me. And leadership was actually one of them, but the other ones are commitment. One is sacrifice. One is leadership. One is simplicity, and one is spiritual soundness.
Sure.
I think you have to have it. So you have to be able to let them know this is what my philosophy is and work with it. Each one of my players got a book that was really thick, and I expected them to know some of the things that were in that. And when they did that, and you get leaders. I always felt my leadership came from my seniors.
Yeah.
That's basically, once in a while, I can go back to Zach Kovlag. I want to talk about him for a second. As a sophomore, I never had a sophomore ever lead like he did as a sophomore.
Right.
But in college, you basically, it's your top end people that are leaders for you. And when you can get that, it changes everything.
Yep.
But I felt like I was always trying to motivate them. Always. I've done a lot of motivational speaking, not as much as you, Hunter, but I've done some. And I think that those are the things that I really believe that are really important in those things. And that's how I developed my leadership. were those principles right there, is making things pretty sound, but a commitment. Because when you look at commitment you make, productivity comes through commitment, not authority. What you're doing, Hunter, is I didn't have to push you at all. If you were committed, your productivity was way up because you believed in the program. And that's what I had to bring out in the athletes, is I want them, without me yelling at you, basically, I want you to respond.
Sure.
And so that was a key. And my motivation is, let's say I'm on the floor practicing with you and you do something poorly, and I'm a yeller.
Mm-hmm.
And I say, Hunter, what in the heck why didn't you do that? And I said, no, I'm going to stop the whole team. And I said, now, Hunter, tell the team why I'm yelling at you. Tell the rest of the team.
I messed up.
You did.
I got to be better.
Because I said, I don't want to yell at you. Do what you're supposed to do. And I think so those are the things you take out. You take out little things that are fundamentals, and you push those, and that's what really makes your team.
We could probably talk for the whole hour on those 6 things. I want to point out one of them that I'm interested in, on the simplicity aspect, because I think in my limited amount of coaching athletes, great teachers, great coaches can simplify really complex things and make it simple for athletes to understand, or for anyone to understand. Tell me how you simplified things for your athletes, and why that's one of your core foundational truths.
Well, you're going to laugh here, because when I came to NDSU, I had a rule for everything. I mean, if you breathed wrong, it was a rule.
Yeah.
I mean, it was so thick, it was unbelievable. You couldn't have got it under a door. And so basically what I did is that I found out pretty quickly that by just making things simple and not making a rule that you have to do this, if you do this, what happens if you do this, but then judge what's happening as you go along. And then in the simplicity of basketball, basically it's a very simple game if you just do the fundamentals.
Yeah.
And I don't think you have to overdo it. I always felt you got to give your players some latitude, because you got to play. And today, with 24 seconds or 30 some seconds, you get really basically one player, and then you got to shoot.
Right.
I mean, you don't get really choice. So why make it so complicated? Your players understand it. And the other thing is that what I always felt too is, okay, you call a timeout, and when you come over there, because you're calling a timeout because you got to adjust something.
Yep.
And so my players, basically, what I'd do is every time I'd switch a defense.
Yeah.
But what I found out also, if you don't make it simple for you, when you get down the floor next time, they forget what defense you're playing, or even what offense you're running.
Yeah.
I mean, it's true. I mean, your kids only have so much capacity.
Yeah.
And
you want them to play fast.
No.
Right.
So I always have felt, and like I say, when I left college, well, I had one page. That's all I was left.
Wow. So you went from a book down to a page.
A book to a page.
That's amazing.
And because you just try to do too much.
Yep.
But you know what? It's even when I work with the charities, I tell them, make it simple. You get a letter in the mail, Hunter, and it's 2 pages long or 3 pages long. Do you read it?
No.
That's what I said. It's a page. If it's not a page or less, forget it.
You got the first paragraph, and if I like the first paragraph, I'll finish the page.
Yeah. Well, if you only write one paragraph, you got it made.
Yeah, there you go.
There you go.
That's all, that might be all it takes.
But simplicity is really a key in everything that I do today, basically. Even at my age, I want to make things as simple as I possibly can.
Yep.
It really helps.
You touched on Zach Kavalvog, and that really is our connection, because I wouldn't have met you that day in the gym had it not been for an invite from Zach. And he was my best friend growing up. I mean, we were on the same travel basketball team from 5th grade all the way through our senior year of high school when he passed away. But just tell me a little bit about your experience of coaching Zach, because he was your first sophomore captain ever, I believe, right? And tell me what that was like, having him run the show and be the point guard for you.
Well, there's some cute stories with Zach. Zach was one of the most interesting of all the coaches, of all the players I've ever coached. I would say he's right at the top, one of the tops, without question. He was a totally amazing young man. I mean, he would run. Literally, he'd try to run through the door. I mean, he'd get done with our practice, and he would go over and work out at at the sports center.
Yep.
I mean, he would. It burned me up because you burn yourself out. I mean, that's the thing. And his dad was a great asset to him because he really pushed him at times. But Zach was just amazing. We would have never gone to the state. They'd never gone to the state tournament before, and it was kind of cute where you said, literally, when I went and took the job, I'd been out of coaching 21 years.
Yeah.
And actually Ray Quavlog was one of the people that really got me interested in going over there. I had no intentions of coaching, not even wanting to. And when they came to me, they asked me to go. I was in the garage, and one of the board members came to me, and he says, "Erv, I think it'd be a great story if you went over and coached."
Yeah.
And he said, "Would you pray for it?" And I said, "No."
No, I'm not praying for
I'm
that.
not
That's
praying
what
for
you
this.
said.
I did. I said,
no way I'm praying for that.
This is not something I wanted,
Yeah.
but sometimes it's not what you want.
Yeah.
So basically, he came back 10 days later, and he said, "Have you been praying for this?" I said, "No." I said, I don't want to coach again. I've been out 21 years. He said, "Well, come on over," because I knew players, and
Yeah.
maybe I could help them. Got over there, and I got really interested. I got fired up for it, and I didn't know a player. I didn't know anything like that. I went and watched them playing some ball out at Courts Plus. They had leagues out there, and so I went out and watched. And this Qualvog kid was a real thing. Now, he had he had 4 seniors with him.
Yeah.
And a reserve senior.
Hunter Nickel and Hannestead. And
they
were great players.
They were great players.
Mm-hmm.
And they were not pushed. And when I came in, I thought, well, I'm a college coach. I mean, I forgot a few things. I'd never coached high school.
Yeah.
Never. And so basically, I go in there, and I say, okay, I'd like to practice at 10 in the morning. Well, Coach, I can't. I got a job. Coach, I got baseball in the night. I can't. I said, this is ridiculous. I said, this is totally ridiculous. I said, okay, then we're going to practice at 6 in the morning.
You guys working at 6?
But guess what? I didn't realize that none of them drove.
Oh man!
So the parents didn't really like me too much. So it was pretty interesting. A few of them did, but basically it did. So we just started that way, and what I found out is that the year before they just were not pushed. It was like a coach was really nice, so we're going to play somebody. I don't operate that way.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm going to push the heck out of you. And Zach we were right in the run of it. And this is what Zach's all about. We're right in the run of it. And Zach was averaging a lot of points and doing a lot of good things with all our teams. We were winning. And he came in and tried to tell me how to coach. And I mean, Zach was really good at that. He thought he was going to tell me how to coach.
Yeah.
I chewed his fanny out so bad, it was unreal. And I said, we will never go very far if you don't start passing the ball because I said, your assist is just like 2 points for me. I said, so if you don't start doing that, we will never go anywhere. So we get to the tournaments now, and Zach averaged, I think, right under 10 assists a game.
Which is hard in high school.
It's hard.
It's
and
really
he controlled the ball. And I know one of the things that we'll probably get into here is what would be one of my most fun years or games I ever had. We go to Concordia. The team that we're playing is Battle Lake, undefeated. And we made a great stretch. And Zach is going to be the key player in this game. And I said, this is on TV now. And I said, so we changed our style. We said, well, okay, we're going to try to win every 4 minutes because that's a commercial.
Yep.
And I said, 4 minutes or tie. And Battle Lake had beaten every team by an average of 33 points a game.
Wow.
Number 2 in the state.
Mm-hmm.
And our kids just were phenomenal. Zach, I mean, one of my players got 7 3-pointers, and Zach, I'm positive, gave the ball to him every time.
Every time.
But and he made some big baskets in it.
Right.
But we would have never gone to the state tournament without his leadership. Without it. I mean, and it's really rare for a sophomore.
Yeah.
I mean, it really was. And so him being your best, and his brother was going to be a great one too.
Probably even more talented.
Shooting-wise.
Could shoot the lights out.
So it was a tragedy. I still see Ray every once in a while.
Yep.
But it was a terrible tragedy. But I have fond memories.
That's great.
You know, that's what it's about.
You got to hold on to the good ones. Yeah. And Zach was undeniably the toughest person on the court at all times. Undeniably. And I thought I was pretty tough, and I took a lot of pride in being tough. But I wasn't as tough as Zach Lavalog, and I remember specifically, you talk about he'd do 2 workouts. He'd work out in the morning, he'd go to practice, and then he'd work out after. I mean, he was drilled, into him to work, to
What a
work,
great
to work.
athlete. You know, he ran track. I mean, he went to the state of track.
Yeah,
One of the
he
best
did it all.
quarterbacks. I mean, he could do it all. I mean, he really was. And good student. But okay, let's take the other side of Zach. This is what I like about athletes, because you know, when I was coaching at NDSU, we always served the meal at Salvation Army on Thanksgiving.
Mhm.
Always, we were the ones that went down there, because I wanted our players to learn that there's other things besides basketball. There are people out there that are hurting. I took them into schools where they had to talk to and read to kids. I mean, I had programs that we went into schools and things like that. Zach was the kind of kid that if he saw someone that didn't have a meal, he'd make sure that he had a meal.
Yep.
He was also tutoring kids. I mean, there was a whole different, I mean, yeah, he was a great basketball player, but it wasn't the basketball player that meant more to me than it was the person that he was.
Yep. That's powerful. Gets me emotional thinking about it, because that is so true. You saw the competitive athlete a lot, but there was a kind-hearted
Oh,
man behind the wall of an athlete that he was. So yeah, he's him and his brother, him and Connor, are going to be honorary groomsmen in my wedding coming up.
that's great.
So they'll have a spot, because there's no doubt they'd be there if they were still with us. So
Well, they'll stay on for a long time, because I really believe that their life wasn't in vain.
no,
I mean, it's just it's sad. And I know it's been tough on Ray and Kathy. I know it has, but they got a new
Brooksy.
Brooks is pretty good.
you know, 10 years from now, Ray might be coming to you and say, "Hey, Erv, one more round
And,
of coaching." You think?
I'll be 91, and hopefully I'm here.
Oh, that's good stuff. Well, we should get into a little bit of what you're doing now, and you're wearing the shirt. I appreciate you not wearing the Bison polo.
I did it for you.
Thank you. Yes, but you're wearing Giving Hearts.
Yeah.
I believe it's a Giving Hearts shirt, and Dakota Foundation.
Mhm.
Tell me a little bit about what you're doing and how you're impacting now through fundraising.
Well, I hope I'm impacting, but you know, I again, actually, Pat Trainer, who I really admire and respect, said, Irv, 4 years ago, he said, Irv, I would like to have you coach charities. I said, what do you mean, coach charities? You would call it consulting. But he said, I want you to coach. And he said, I want you to push them just like you did your team. So basically what I did is he started off, he lied to me, a sucker. He said, I'll give you 12, and it ended up 20. and now it's 30. But basically what I do is I go in and I have 5 classes, and we talk about what's important, how to fundraise, what do you need to do, and it goes back to simplicity. I don't try to give them 5 or 6 things. I want 1 or 2 things. That's all I want them to do. So I have 5 classes that I work with them, and then I meet with every one of them one-on-one. I met this morning actually with a couple.
Yep.
I'll meet one-on-one with them and suggest things to them. I never tell them what to do.
Mm-hmm.
Never. And so basically I'm a part of Giving Hearts Day. So when the time comes in, I try to see what they kind of do. And in the last 2 years, of the 30-some million that we've raised, the 30 that I've helped have done 8 million.
Wow.
And I've had 3 over $1 million.
Yep.
And I have some that just want $20,000.
Yep.
But when we go back and talk about pushing,
Mm-hmm.
what I'm doing is I'll walk in and I'll give you a true example of what I did. I go out to Castleton. There's a great project out there. This lady is just phenomenal. So I go out there, and I'm always kind enough. I know what the statistics are before I even get there. So I go out and I say to this lady, I said, well, tell me what you did. She said, well, we did 48,000 last year. That was a good one. I said, so, okay, so what do you want this year? She said, we want 50. I said, so in other words, you don't want your donors to give you any more money.
Yeah.
You don't. Why would I give you any more money? You really don't care.
Yeah.
I said, we're going to push that goal. I said, that's what I'm here for. I'm going to push you to get that goal. And so guess what? I said, we're going to go to 100,000. I said, that's a little bit high. So I said, we're not going to double that. So let's go we went to 75,000.
Yeah, 50% increase.
Yeah. And so I said, we're going to do that. They took in 65. And so I go back and I say, did you lose? How many more families are you helping right now? Because you didn't raise the 50,000, you raised 65,000.
Yeah.
And I had another example was that he took in 80,000 4 years ago, 85 the next year 1.1, and last year 1.2.
Wow.
So they don't realize sometimes they just need to be pushed. They need to be encouraged. They all get my message every morning because I want them to know I want it to be a positive experience. And I also tell them it's hard work.
Yeah.
Fundraising's hard work. Don't think it isn't, because I'm telling you, you have to do so many things. And a lot of times they won't do what I ask either.
Yeah.
And guess what? They don't win.
Right.
I mean, so it basically goes to coaching. It's been a really fun. And Dakota Medical Foundation people out there are phenomenal. I mean, when you walk in there, you're uplifted. They're always trying to help. They're always trying to make you a better person. And so to be involved with that group, it lifts me up. Because when I walk in the morning or whenever I walk in, it's powerful. And who do you want to hang around with, Hunter?
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, I don't want to hang around negative people. Someone will call our house, and my wife will answer, and they say, "Hey, we'd like to go out to dinner with you." And I said, "No, we're not going. I don't want to be around people that are going to drag you down."
Yeah.
There's enough negativity in this, and I just don't want any part of it.
Purpose-filled, life-giving people. That's what
Totally.
you want to surround yourself with.
It's been so much fun. I mean, it gives me a purpose. And
Yeah.
I'm not full-time or anything like that. I go out there, and right now I'm just but people call me outside of that group and say, "Hey, tell me a little bit." And the group I met with this morning is doing that. I have some that are trying to raise $70 million.
That's incredible.
And so
it's fun too. It's got to be fun.
Totally fun. And,
Yeah.
and again, when Giving Hearts Day comes around, it's nice I watch my groups like a hawk. And last year was just out of the 32 million, they did 8 million.
That's fantastic. I will say, when we met this past winter for coffee, I was looking through my notes in my notebook, and one thing that I wrote down from you that you said in that meeting was, when you're calling people and talking about raising dollars for charity, you said you better have called them 7 times before and not talked at all about money.
Nope.
So you got to connect with people.
Well, it's so easy to do because most people don't answer their phone anymore. But how many times, I don't know, every time I ask this question, do you listen to your voicemails? Do you listen to them? Yeah. I bet you listen to them. Well, I mean, unless it's really a cruddy thing, but you listen to your voicemail. And I said, so make it real simple. I said, I'm calling on behalf of hospice today. I want to tell you, Hunter, thank you for the gift. You made a major impact on a lot of people. I just wanted to know that you're appreciated. And that's it. And I can't get some of them to do the 7 phone calls. I mean, because I said, start it off in the morning and just do it. Because eventually, Hunter, guess what I'm going to come do? I'm going to come back and say, Hunter, I'd like to have you support our program now. So you get those kind of things. So, it's nothing hard. It's nothing earth-shattering. It goes back to that simplicity.
Yeah.
How hard is that?
Right.
I had one charity. I was so proud of this charity. They did exactly what I asked them. And didn't ask for a cent. They took in double that month for what they'd ever taken in.
Sometimes
never asked for a penny. Never asked for a penny.
Wow.
So it's fun.
That's awesome.
But I get to meet there's so many great charities I had no clue about. I mean, Farm in the Dell. I mean, you have no clue what Farm in the Dell is. I mean, I can go right down the list. Nikki Mamas. This lady is so taking care of people in the house. I mean, I don't get to choose a charity. The MF does it all, which I appreciate. So it's really fun for me. And I'm looking at it. What do you do?
Yeah.
And it's amazing.
They do some amazing things.
Really amazing things.
Yeah. Really, really cool. All right, let's get to some fun ones to wrap this thing up.
This hasn't been fun?
Yeah, all of this has just been boring. No, but let's get to some ones. I sent you a list of questions, but you said, I don't need a list.
I don't need a list.
Yeah, so I'm gonna hit you with a couple ones that are not on the list.
Yeah.
Give me your favorite UND NDSU memory.
Winning.
Oh, that's too good. That's good. That's
Well,
awesome.
that was a hard question.
Yeah, really tough
Hunter, I
one.
mean, really tough.
Really
Well,
tough
Gunther
one.
and I went at each other, and, you
Yeah.
know, I didn't win many times up at UND, and I remember winning the first time,
Yeah.
and it was really powerful. I had Lance Browald, who was one of my greatest players I ever had. He went in and played pro ball over in Europe. But he took, after we won, it was the first time we'd won up there in a while. He took the ball and threw it in the crowd. And Terry Wanless was the athletic who sent me a bill. And I said, I'm not paying this.
Yeah.
One of your fans has got it.
Yeah, go get it from
Go
your
get it.
fans. Yeah.
No, those were powerful weeks. I mean, really, and like I say, I had great respect for Dave Gunther. He was a powerful coach, very, very good X and O man, and we really had some great battles. I mean, the rivalry was fun. I mean, it really was. I mean, it was what basketball's all about, and so it just brought everybody together. And it's been sad that we don't have now. Basketball's still doing it,
Right.
but you know, now that we've moved up, football won't do it, and I think there's something missing there.
Yeah, those are fun weeks.
Yeah.
Even if you don't come out on the victorious side, the week leading up to the game is fun for the fans because
Oh,
it's all the banter back and forth. You know, yeah, our family's a house divided. I had aunts and uncles that went to NDSU. My aunt and uncle actually played at NDSU, and so those are fun weeks. And yeah, we'll miss it on the football side for sure. But I guess one question I've got, and Garrett, if you got one after this, feel free. But growing up in Indiana, small town Indiana, and getting to play at IU, did you play at Assembly Hall?
No.
Was that
That
after?
was before.
Okay.
You know.
Well, when you got to like run out on the court with Hoosiers across your chest, what was that like from an Indiana kid getting to play for his home state, and what did that teach you about the game and really just the game of basketball?
You know, I'd say it's my whole philosophy now. I mean, basically what I did, but you can't explain how much it feels. But in high school, we played at the Fort Wayne Coliseum, which seated 10,000.
Yeah.
And it was full for a high school basketball.
Wow.
I mean, I took my wife back once and I said, I'm going to tell you, you're not going to believe what you see. I said, the stadium's going to be full. Our town had a stadium that had more seats than we did population. And when we went to the county tournament, you got a lottery. You got like 400 tickets. That was it. I mean, this was
That's
a high
a big
school
deal, man.
People just didn't know. Now it's different because they got classes.
Yeah.
You know,
There was one class.
one class back then, and we were a small town. I had 56 in my graduating class. Small. I mean, kind of big for some around here, but so that was really a thing. But what you can't. I've got one video because we didn't do that back then. I have one video of the whole game that I got to play at Indiana.
Wow.
And it was against Ray Meyer, and I didn't even realize it, but I made the final 2 free throws that won the game.
At least you got that game.
Yeah, but my coach gave me that.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're going to have a 60th class year reunion this year. I have not seen some of my players since I graduated.
That'll be amazing.
So it'll be fun going back this year and when you win a Big Ten championships, it's a big deal.
Absolutely. That's the best part about college athletics.
Yeah.
Is man, the banners, they stay at IU, but the guys you get to take with.
Yeah.
You know, you get to go
We
back.
got
on
one of those
reunions.
banners there too.
Yeah.
We got one of those banners.
That's pretty
We got
awesome.
some national championships. We're a little bit down the line.
Yeah. But hey,
But it's
winning
still
the
there.
Big Ten Conference is a big deal.
Yeah,
So.
it really was.
Gary, you got any questions?
Have you ever read the book, A Season on the Brink?
Yep.
What are your thoughts on Bob Knight?
I know Bob Knight. I knew Bob Knight very well. He had dinner in our house when he came up here. No way. And if you want a story on Bobby Knight, I'll tell you one.
Let's hear it.
I helped Bobby Knight with May. May was a heck of a basketball for Indiana when they won the national championship. And back then, you had to have a certain grade to match your test scores, and he was just under it. And so Bob Knight sent him to Minneapolis to go to a school, you know, a kind of a real tough school to get the grades up. So I'd pick him up and take him to the school and things like that. Bobby Knight never forgot that. When he came to Minneapolis, I would go out to dinner with Coach Knight and Sid Hartman.
Wow.
I mean,
What a table.
well, I can tell you,
Yeah,
I
Sid
didn't.
Hartman.
We've been talking a lot. I didn't say anything. I was there.
Yeah.
And when he came up to play in the tournaments up here, I'd pick him up and he would go play country club or whatever he'd play. And I remember one night we went out with Bob Costas and he sat down with it. But after the golf was over, he came over to our house for dinner. And my boys were like little and he was like, oh my gosh. And he would talk about all these things. I mean, it was just fascinating. And the thing that I want to tell you more than anything else, when I got out of basketball, it was a tough year for me, and things weren't going really well. And I was getting beat up in the newspaper. That's what happens, part of the game. And I hadn't decided yet, but I knew that I was going to have to make a choice. So I left after the athletic director came and said, either you win next year or you're out. I left and went to Minneapolis. When I got to Minneapolis, and to this day, I still don't know what happened. Coach Knight had called my in-laws, that's where we were going, and said, I want to talk to you. So I walked in the door, and my father-in-law said, Coach Knight wants to talk to you right now. So I picked up the phone, and I called Coach Knight, and he said, Erv, I hear you're thinking about getting out. And he said, I really don't think you should. He said, you're the kind of people, which was nice. He said, you're the kind of coach that we need in the game today. And I said, Coach, I'm done. And he said, look, honestly, you can come down here and work for me. So I know the other side of Coach Knight. I mean, I know the chairs and all. I hear all this stuff, but I know all those things he went. But I spent a lot of time with him, and he always treated me with complete class. And when I came up here, I'd never had an assistant coach. Golden Valley, Augsburg, no assistant coaches. I coached Knight. Can I come down? I need some help in getting an assistant coach. And so basically he said, come on down. 3 days he gave me as assistant coaches to watch anything I wanted. And he said, if you want to talk to me, come on in.
Wow, open door.
It's a different side of Coach Knight, isn't it?
Yeah, you see.
Good question.
That is awesome.
It was fun to be with him and do that. And it's too bad at the end. But the night they won the Big Ten Championship, the night before, we were in his house with his wife, and they were going to play Purdue, and we were in his house. I mean, so I really had some good access to him when I went. I don't think I ever abused it, but when it was so much fun to be like I say, can you imagine being with Sid Hartman and Bobby Knight in a restaurant for hours?
Couple legends.
I was really happy.
Yeah, I bet. I bet you were. That's awesome. Anna, you got something? You good?
I guess I was thinking about this. You said as you got older, Fortune, you just wanted to make things more simple. Do you think, because this was the same thing with my volleyball coach, we always joked, or the previous graduating classes always joked that he had gotten so soft as he got older, and some attributed it to him becoming a grandpa. But do you think it's just age and maturing that makes you want to simplify things as a coach?
Yeah, I think that's a great question, because I had my old players say, Coach, you got easy. You got easier. Well, if you went over to Park Christian, they didn't think I got easier. But I think that's what happens is you do things, you look at things a little bit differently. You age as you do it. And, you think, am I being too tough or things like that? But very basically, you got to push athletes. The athletes don't know how good they can be sometimes. And so what I think most coaches are trying to do is make you better. And that's what my goal was especially at Park Christian. These kids had just never been pushed. And to get up at 6 a.m, and I'm telling you, it wasn't an easy. I mean, I worked their fannies off. I worked them.
I got you.
But you know what? That work pays off. And I think if you talk to any of them today, they'd say it was worth the price that they had paid to do it. But isn't that life? See, my point is, you did that now, but you're going to take one step once you get out of college and you got to get a job and you're working now. I'm worried about them now too. I really want them to know that, hey, there's a life out there that it's going to be hard. Don't think it isn't. It's going to be hard, but you're going to be prepared for it, because I had one player that saw me 3 years ago. He came back and said, I hated you. I said, well, then I probably won. He said, he's in South Bend, Indiana now. But I said, Coach, But he said, I don't hate you anymore because I know what you tried to do.
Yeah.
And at the time, it's like being a parent sometimes. You know, you got to discipline your kids. You got to, because you want them to do the best they can. You don't want to hurt them, but you want them to be, kids today just don't realize if you're pushed, how far you can go.
Yeah. There's a lot inside you.
There's a lot in there that you didn't see.
Yep. That gets into our last question. And we ask everybody that hops on the podcast here the question of what is an overcomer, and the things that you've overcome in your life, but then also the things that you've helped other kids and other athletes overcome in their own lives. If I were to ask you that question sitting here today, after all you've been through, what is an overcomer? What's your answer?
Pretty easy. One, it's believing in yourself. And my faith is really important. Proverbs 3:1-6 goes like this. My son, never forget the things I've taught you, if you want a long and satisfying life. Closely follow my instructions. Never forget to be truthful and kind. Hold these virtues tightly. Write them deep within your heart. If you want favor with both God and man and reputation for good judgment and common sense, then trust the Lord completely. Don't ever trust yourself. And everything you do, put God first, and He'll crown your efforts with success. And that's exactly what He's done with my life. No question about it. I don't never short it, but you got to live by the principles you believe in. And believe me, you got to believe in yourself. He gave you, and the other thing is attitude. What's your attitude in the morning when you get up? I mean, I believe every morning you get up with a positive attitude, your day is going to start. Look in the mirror and tell yourself it's going to be a great day. When you end the day, tell yourself it's been a great day. People laugh at me. I said that. Well, try it. You might just be surprised. You might even smile when you look at yourself.
Yeah.
I mean, so to me, it's really simple. I mean, I really feel strongly about it. You got to believe in yourself, and you get to choose. Nobody gets to choose. You know, your attitude, you get to choose it. Your parents can't choose it for you. Your pastor can't. Your coach can't. You choose it. It's one of the greatest gifts you got.
Love it. That's fantastic. That's awesome. All right, let's end with something good and wrap it up. Garrett, you started off, man. Tell me something good today.
I'm going to use A Season on the Brink because that's one of my favorite books of all time. And just reading about Bobby Knight, that was one of the best experiences I've ever had reading a book. So if you haven't read it, you're interested in basketball and coaching, check out A Season on the Brink.
Okay, my something good. I'm going to have to throw these pictures up so everyone can see them. But my dad just texted me and said that you spoke at his athletic banquet when he was a senior in high school and got Athlete of the Year. And then you reposed for the same picture when you spoke in Lemoore, North Dakota, 37 years later. I'll show you the pictures. I'm going to flash them up. These pictures are, first of all, hilarious. This one from back in the day. But yeah,
she's dating you.
You took a picture with my dad.
That is pretty cool. Look at that.
And I was really liking her.
Yeah, I know it. Sharp dressed guy though. Look at that.
Yeah. So and
that's awesome. What a small world.
Yeah.
Though, in all seriousness, that's pretty cool.
Crazy.
Yeah.
And he just sent me that text to you like 2 minutes ago. So I'm glad that came through.
Yeah. Erv, you got something good? Anything in your life that's something good?
Well, right now, if you just take right now, I'm reading a book about the ABA, and what's fun for me right now, it's called A Rebirth of the ABA, and basically it's not about me at all. I mean, I'm not in the book at all, but I know every person that's in it.
Yep.
I mean, it's really good. But the other thing is, I'm a little bit of a history buff too, because right now, every Monday night, there's a 2-hour show on World War II.
Yeah.
And it's powerful.
Do you know what channel it's on?
Yeah, it's on the history. It's on the History Channel.
Okay.
It's not on any special channel. Tom Hanks is leading it, and if you haven't seen it, it's powerful. But what happens in something like that, you see things that you had no idea and how we have gotten our freedom. Right. Our freedom was pretty close to not ever happening.
Yep.
When you go back and look, I didn't realize that. I really didn't. I mean, you read about just the surface stuff. Mm-hmm. This is really in depth, and I really recommend it. It's a 20-part series right now, wow. And we're in the 4th part of it, and you can always pick it up. But I'll tell you what, it'll move you.
That's awesome. Check it out. I'm also a history buff. We could talk history for a long time, and read a lot of books, General from Patton and Eisenhower and all that stuff. It's good.
Bobby Knight was
Extremely
really into
interesting.
history.
Yeah.
Really into history.
Well, our next time grabbing coffee, we'll get into that.
That'd be fun. Then we
that'd
don't
be
have
fun.
to do an interview, right?
That's right. That one will be off the camera.
I'll interview you.
Yeah, that's right. My something good here is Bozeman, Montana. Bozeman, Montana. I got to go to Bozeman last week, take my sister out for orientation. So she's going to Montana State next year. And the Rocky Mountains, and it is beautiful. I would say our ancestors stopped about 800 miles short. We should have just kept on going to the Rockies, but North Dakota is all right as well. But Bozeman, Montana is my something good because I'm excited to visit my sister out there the next 5 years. So, man, Erv, thanks.
Oh,
Thanks for making this happen, man.
this has been really fun. It's
Yeah.
nice to reminisce, I mean, because most of my history is so far. My grandkids don't even know about my history.
Yeah.
I mean, because you do, good for them, but it's fun to reminisce like this. And you made it fun.
Well,
And for a UND guy, you're not bad.
not too bad. Let's clip that and let's send it out to all my NDSU friends. All right. I need people to hear that more.
You can do that.
Thanks for your time today and coming on the sit down.
It was wonderful.
Thanks, guys. See you next time.